I am in the process of editing a video, a current video. So I wanted to say something real quick. Today is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of the beautiful mothers out there that are doing the best that they can with what they have. So I'm going to multitask because I've been procrastinating a lot lately. And matter of fact, I should probably close this window. But I do want to, while I edit and talk to you all, I do want to speak on some things about breakups and different ways that you could possibly get your ex back, or to cope with a breakup, to help you all out, because I'm the most emotional person ever, and I've only been dumped once and it crushed my soul, but I didn't want to take steps in order to get my ex back. But I do have some ideas and maybe some theories on things you probably shouldn't do after someone breaks up with you. Okay?
I mean, like really? Because everyone is different, right? Like, right? Everyone is different. What? I mean, like really? Because everyone is different, right? Like, right? Everyone is different. What? I think that might be enough.
I think that when it comes to winning your ex back, I think that that's not the hard part. I think the hard part is keeping them. You know? After all, I mean, they left you once. Who's to say that they won't leave you again? What's the point of getting them back if you can't hold on to them permanently? So, my name is Anita Maraschino. I'm going to be discussing maybe a few things that you should not do after a breakup or after someone breaks up with you. Hopefully, it may help. We'll see though. This is not a guarantee. I'm not a professional. I'm not a doctor. I didn't go to school for breakups. I mean, I've seen people make these mistakes over and over and over again, and it's just like, even myself, I look at myself too as like learning experiences. But when you have a plan, and me being a Virgo, we usually like to plan stuff. We don't really like to improvise, but in most cases we end up improvising because things never really necessarily go as we planned, right? So at least a plan gives you some type of sense of direction as to which way to go, what to do next, how to cope with whatever. I mean, and it'll also give you something to look forward to when you're feeling down and out and unsure and confused as hell, because a lot of things in relationships tend to be confusing as hell, you know? With that being said, step one, stop fucking up your chances with being insecure as hell and needy and acting out of desperation. You know, when you act out of desperation, it's negative and it's draining, especially to a person that broke up with you in the first place. A lot of people tend to base their things off of their instincts, or they act off of impulses. Don't do that. Don't do that, because when you do that, you don't really think outside of, I want to do this now, so I'm going to do it. Now, a lot of this shit may or may not be counterintuitive, but as long as you understand my drift and get what I'm saying or where I'm trying to go, it will probably make sense to you. Also, don't beg. A lot of people tend to make the mistakes of calling and texting a lot. and bringing up memories or the past or reasons as to why we shouldn't break up, or how much I love you, or whole time they're just like, I love you too, I'm just no longer in love with you. A lot of times your instincts tell you that you should stay in contact with them, and that's not the case. That's probably not really good to do with your ex, is staying in contact with them. Because if you think about it, every single time you call or text your ex, you're showing them just how needy you are. And all that's doing is pushing them away even more. Also, people who tend to drink, or whatever your drug or liquid of choice from Pandora's box is, be careful with that shit. Because after a breakup, especially, when you drink, I call it a true serum. And when you drink, the true serum, it's more so like, after a while, once you get there or feel buzzed or feel good in some type of way, you tend to call or text them. Because you're already dealing with emotional and mental shit as it is. So watch that. If not, have one of your besties or best friends or something to come with you so that you don't do that shit, so they can watch you. Unless you have a friend that drinks worse than you. Number 2. And number 1, I spoke just a tad bit about begging. But number 2, don't beg. Don't throw pity parties. Don't do anything to try to make your ex feel bad for breaking up with you in any type of way at all. I mean, think about it. If begging worked after a breakup, would anybody really break up with anybody if that shit really worked? Probably not. They decided to leave you, and they were prepared to go through with their decision. So I'm pretty sure they probably thought about the fact that you're probably going to beg them or try to make them feel like shit or feel bad or in any way. The only thing that begging does is show just how insecure you are. And again, that's pushing your ex even further away from you. A lot of times, with your instincts, I think that people tend to try to make their ex believe that if I show them that I can't live without them, or that I'm miserable as hell without them, maybe they'll take me back. Number 3, don't let them walk all over you. Because you're vulnerable at the moment, and you're sad, and you're just really down and out. Everything basically tells you, your gut instincts tells you that just agree with everything that your ex wants. Whatever it'll take to get you back. Whatever it'll take to take me back. It basically tells you that all of your goals, your needs, your wants, your values, your dignity, all of that shit doesn't matter. Your stuff doesn't matter, only theirs and what they want, because you're so desperate to get them back. Don't do that. A lot of cases, I think that when it comes to breakups, I think we tend to, when we want to get back with someone so desperately, they'll come up with all these ridiculous demands, and it's just like, okay, well, whatever you say, whatever you want, and that's not fair to you. It's not at all. Don't let them walk over you like that. Plus, I think that that's not going to bring them back. I think that that's just going to make them respect you even less, due to the fact that now you no longer have a backbone. Mistake number 4, showing them all this type of affection due to the fact that you're missing their touch, the sense of touch. Hugging all over them if you see them, or trying to give them kisses, or trying to have sex, or do anything that has to do with you all touching to try to make them miss the affection that you two have between each other, or whatever type of chemistry or passion you two have. Don't do that. Maybe he or she will realize just how much I love them. They already know that. They knew how much you loved them before they decided to break up with you. Whatever their reason is for deciding to break up with you, it won't just go away magically. Raining down on them with affection is just going to push them away even farther, and it's going to make them want to get away from you even more because of what they know you're trying to do in the first place. They made a decision, and they want to follow through with it. Number 5, acting a fool or freaking the hell out if you find out that they're seeing someone else, or dating someone else, or talking on the phone with someone else, because you're going to automatically assume that they're fucking. And you definitely don't want them having sex with somebody else, or having another male or female taking your time, or, you know, what used to be your time, or being around you, or being around them in some way due to the fact that they broke up with you. They no longer want to be with you, but yet they can go still hang out with somebody else. Or if they claim they don't want a relationship. It's like, so why are you seeing other people? Don't flip out. 9 times out of 10, that's a rebound relationship. If they're in a relationship or dating in some type of way, or just screwing somebody, it's a rebound. It's for them to get their minds off of you, which still doesn't work. But first, let's take a look at how your instincts basically make you react if you find out about someone else after a breakup. The way your brain is set up, it tends to go into panic mode because you're thinking, am I going to lose this person to someone else? And they have to do all that. They're not over you either. It sucks to think about it, you know, the fact that they could be laying with someone else or with someone else. But fortunately for you, it's one of the most ineffective ways to move on. And it's not going to happen. As long as they're in a rebound relationship, or is messing with someone else, or screwing someone else, they're pretty much avoiding the grief of the breakup. And that's just going to take them longer to get over you. Mistake number 6. 6, whichever one. Name calling and being upset and angry, or doing anything to hurt them or make them feel like shit in any kind of way due to the fact that you're hurting. And when you're hurting, you want them to hurt just as much. So you will do and say anything to make them hurt. Don't do it. That's just giving them even more of a reason to not want to be with you, and to justify the fact that the decision that they made to break up with you is basically saying, I did the right thing. That's screwing you over big time. It's not helping. And verbal abuse is just like physical abuse. No, it doesn't leave marks as far as the eye can see, but it does definitely screw you over in the end, because nobody likes verbal abuse at all. And it only reminds them that the both of y'all still don't understand each other, or you no longer understand each other, or you never understood each other from jump. And that's not helping to get them back. Mistake number 7. 7. Obsessing. Don't be so obsessive. Oh my God, don't be obsessive. Don't want to know every single thing that they're doing. When you were together, you did want to sort of know that, and you were kind of addicted or whatever. And I don't know how your relationship was from the get-go, but at the same time, when you obsess over them, it keeps your mind racing. Your mind is constantly going because you want to figure out the best way to get your ex back as soon as possible, and mind tends to try to create a foolproof plan. And again, I'm a Virgo. I like to make plans, but at the same time, things don't always go as they plan. And then your brain tends to ask yourself different questions like, will they come back to me? Do they still love me? Are they missing me? What can I do to get them back in fast, instantly, ASAP, soon as possible, period? Is he or she dating someone else? Are they screwing someone else? Don't become obsessive like that. Don't do it. Don't create fake pages in social media. If they blocked you, you know, after breakup, you could tend to get blocked. Don't create fake pages just to go and see their post for, you know, pictures, or to see if other males or females are commenting on sexy pictures of them, or if they're making subliminal posts about the relationship or them breaking up with you and shit like that. Don't have your friends go and look at their posts and screenshot and see your shit. And then if you don't have your friends to do that, don't tell your friends not to do that, because sometimes friends, they'll know petty stuff and they'll screenshot and send you different things and you didn't even ask for it. And it's just like, bitch, stop sending me shit. I don't want to see his or her shit. Like, you know, I feel like if you start a journal and you write down all the questions that just keep popping up in your head, then you'll realize that all that shit is pretty much useless. There is really no way for anyone to know what's going on in your ex's head unless you're an oracle or a mind reader. And looking at social media posts or anything, people tend to be other people on social media. So it's probably not real anyway, how they really feel or what they're thinking in reality. Like, imagine that your mind is like a computer or any type of high-tech device that's going to try to find a solution to all your questions and all your problems. The brain doesn't work like that. If a relationship or that person is precious to you, it's like human nature to try to hold on to something that means a lot to you. That's why we grieve so hard when we lose a loved one, because we don't want to lose it. We want to hold on to it forever. Sometimes when you have a breakup or someone broke up with you, it's probably best to cut all ties with them. I know that's hard to do. I mean, no texting, no calling. At least give yourself, I mean, everyone's different, so give yourself anywhere from 2 weeks to a month. But some people can take longer, depending on how bad of a breakup it was and how much they truly love this person. It can take anywhere from 6 months to a year, if not longer, depending on what type of loving person you are or emotional person you are. Don't call, don't text, don't Facebook message if you're not blocked. Don't DM or PM if you're not blocked on anything. Don't accidentally bump into them somewhere and you know what the hell that means. Don't try to hang out or go over their friend's house or mutual friend's house with the hopes that maybe you'll bump into them. They might be there. Don't do it. If you go to a place where you know that they go or that they could possibly be at, don't go. Even if it's a place you like to. I mean, you can try to avoid, but, and you know, so that you all don't link up or bump into each other at whatever place, you know, you both like when you all were together. But, you know, don't go. Don't do it. You need some time to heal. You need some space. Actually, you both do. You need time to make yourself a better person, to make yourself a happy person. Eventually, hopefully, you realize that you can be happy without that person. If you decide to move on, or if you decide to, work on yourself mentally and emotionally. You know, you have to heal, you have to grow. And if you're constantly talking to your ex, you probably won't. Maybe. Who knows? Stop contacting them for a while. They'll begin to realize that you're no longer being needy. Don't feel bad if you need to take some time out to yourself, or if you no longer reply to a text message or a phone call or answer phone calls or anything like that. Don't worry about as far as their feelings are concerned. If y'all talk all the time though, or still cool or friends or whatever the case may be, let them know that you need some time and some space. Don't worry about their feelings like that. I mean, after all, they did break up with you, right? They weren't exactly worried about your feelings. Fuck it. Wow. You were taking time to yourself and space. Remember, they asked you for a breakup. They wanted to break up with you. Give them a fucking breakup. Cut that shit off. They won't really truly know what it feels like to lose you until you cut them off and give them an actual breakup and let the shit set in. A lot of times we miss our exes and shit like that because we're so used to talking to them, so used to being around them all the time, with like a considerable amount of time, especially with couples. Yes, a lot of time they spend. So then you think that, oh well, I can't live without them. That's not true. You were living before them. Don't do that. ex. Don't do what I do. Do as I say. However, trying to get your ex back because you feel incomplete in some way, that's really an unhealthy decision to make. Instead, use the time to learn, to love yourself, to understand yourself. You know, understand your anxiety, recognize your triggers, whatever makes you manic. Like, use all that time to focus on yourself, to make yourself whole again, to make yourself happy. Your ex probably wants you to be who you used to be when they first fell in love with you. They want the person that they fell in love with. And when we get in relationships, it tends to kind of become a controlling thing, or manipulative thing, or gaslighting thing, or whatever, or, you know, abusive thing. Whatever it is that you deal with within your relationship that caused the breakup in the first place. You losing your shit up and down, mood swings, bipolar, borderline personality disorder, PTSD, whatever the hell you had to go through, mental shit from in the past that ended up coming and fucking up your relationship. You know, use that time to work through all of that shit and get back to yourself. Actually, you'll come to realize that you don't need your ex back. You don't need them. You might still want them, but guess what? There's a very thin line between needing something and wanting something. You know, drift. I think a lot of times also that when you take that time for yourself, you get to step back and reevaluate your life, reevaluate yourself, reevaluate relationships, reevaluate a bunch of different things, and then you can make a lot of positive changes within your life and within yourself. So, the no contact period, you want them to love you. You want them to be attracted to you. You want them to do all the things that they did when you all were totally and utterly in love with each other. You literally have to start enjoying life and becoming an overall happy person. There's nothing more attractive than a happy, positive person. And don't take that shit lightly. This could literally be the difference between getting your ex back or losing them permanently. Go from a breakup, or if you want them to pay attention to you or want you the way that they used to want you in some way, you gotta stop adding to the stress. Stop stressing them out. Stop bugging them. Stop being needy. Stop doing all the fucking things that I just went through. The whole list. Don't do it. Become a better version of yourself, like everybody is trying to do, but seems to be failing in some way. When or while you're doing the no contact with your ex, basically just showing them that you don't need them. You're not being that needy person. You're not being stressful. You're not starting arguments, going back and forth via text messages, or constantly bringing up you all's past, shit like that, or constantly trying to convince them that things will be different this time, or if we ever get back together, or that you'll put more effort into things, or respect them more, or love them more, or be more committed, and that you care. And it didn't work. And the reason that it didn't work is because your ex probably thinks you're only doing all of this because you're afraid of losing them. And you'll do anything to get back with them. Again, that's showing that you're desperate and still insecure and still needy. And basically keeping in touch with your ex basically confirms that shit. I gotta go.